So now I've started a P1000 broadcast that will take on a little bit different dimension. I'll have magnification that should be really helpful. Wow, the air is very fresh fragrance today. Wonderful. One of the things that I'll be able to do, I'll show us from a distance on the pier. Now the water is so calm there. That's one of the, once again, the examples. But it's not just the water being calm, it's the sun being intense in the direction that it's lighting up the reflection. Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning. So right here we're looking at the sand being about 5 feet taller than it previously was before the beach renourishment. Job 37 says that the sun is in the midst of the clouds. And I've captured many occurrences of that appearance. And you can hashtag it if you want, sun in the clouds. Or I should say local sun is the title. If you hashtag that, you'll see many occurrences that I've captured of that appearing that way. Yeah, this works out really nice. I wanted to zoom in on the Sea of Humanity. And since the tide is going out, all the activity of the waves looks very, very different from when the tide is coming in. Sounds different, looks different, it's a lot calmer. This is the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier that I'm sitting on, zooming in on the Myrtle Beach skyline, which is around 25 to 30 miles away. And the reason for the variance is it depends on what point I'm showing you. So artificial intelligence doesn't just need to create robotoid type beings with hydraulics and electronics. It can program a human being to do its bidding. And is it actually a component of an ancient hate, the enemy of God? I believe it actually is. That's what I believe we're looking at, largely with AI. It's one of the weapons of the warfare that we're in. I mean, where a person would sneak off and go to a liquor store to get a pornographic magazine that's one click away on a smartphone or a computer. And not to say that that's the worst thing that there is, it's just not healthy because it's destructive to the way that we see life. Pornography is a perversion of reality, of God's design. And I'm not a cosmic killjoy, or do I represent one? God actually provides great satisfaction in the context of obedience. If you're watching this live broadcast and you see, or you may not know it's a live broadcast, but it is, and there's the P1000 lens visible down below, you can know that I'm zoomed in way in on a setting that you can look at later if you care to. So I will take this opportunity to zoom in on the moon if it's still visible from here, and it is. Okay, so the pier faces slightly southeast, mostly south. So I don't believe the moon is flat, it's just not a sphere. However, when it's a full moon, it looks like one. So what you can do if you care to is explore my content, including my Facebook, which has thousands of photos that include the moon and sun and the people out here enjoying the beauty and majesty of creation. Now the wind is coming from behind me at about 1 to 3 miles an hour. And earlier in the broadcast, when I started out, there was fog in our neighborhood. I believe that fog largely was generated from evaporation from the water here, which was warmer than the air, which is why we had the condensation. So that would be empirical evidence. The other thing is that the biblical proclamation is we live on a stationary earth, that the earth doesn't move, and that the sun, moon, and stars do. It's just the reality of that. This is a more family-oriented setting on the beach, and also a time of day for a whole different group of people. They may be out throughout the day. However, later in the afternoon, on the weekends especially, it'll be more drug and alcohol consumption. But keep in mind, a lot of the individuals that we'll see walking here may be on some type of antidepressant or an anti-anxiety medicine. I'm a proponent of being born again and walking with God as a solution to man's ills, man's problems. That's why I talk about it so much. Where I say I thought I was born again until I actually was. I wouldn't trade what I have with anybody else in the world. No amount of money can purchase what I've been given. Salvation in Christ, new life in Christ. So people are searching, people are fishing, they're looking for answers, looking for peace and tranquility, looking for seashells and treasures hidden in the sand. I think where this gets really interesting is zooming in on a group of people and just seeing the different lives in front of us. Like the young children, are they going to be vaccinated? They maybe already have been. I meet people that have been chemically harmed. You know, I believe I was chemically damaged. However, I would say my recovery is just fine. I'm good with it. Wouldn't trade it for anything. So, early on in my walk with Christ, when I was actually born of the Spirit, after that actually happened, I was looking to lay the blame on somebody else other than me. It wasn't even my fault. It was, I believe, God's sovereignty, and that He had a different plan for my life. He wanted me to be able to articulate to a whole bunch of people that you can go through a lot of the motions that have the appearance of Christianity, following Christ, and yet Christ can be absent. And that's what was going on with me. It was a false advertising. So now that I'm actually free in Christ, I've got a passion, purpose, and eternal perspective, and the power to do what I previously couldn't do, and the pleasure to enjoy it all, even in the midst of considerable opposition and difficulty. That's one of the mysteries of all this, as far as I'm concerned, because it's easy to enjoy pleasure, and it may be absurd to enjoy difficulty. I would say it's more having a satisfaction of obediently walking with Christ, and my emotions are less important than my obedience to God. So I'll do what He created me to do as best I can tell. Why would I do anything else? That's where the true satisfaction is. it's in obedience. It's not just in the experience itself, it's the satisfaction of walking in purpose, walking in truth. So that's what this is all about. Please explore my content. I believe it matters for eternity to actually be born of God's Spirit. And this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Please feel free to reach out. Call me anytime you like. My phone number is 1-843-504-1776. I wrote it in the sand yesterday on yesterday's broadcast. There I am waving goodbye to y'all. Thanks again.